It's an honor and a privilege for me to be here. Just a short while ago, on the opening debate as a congressional candidate to represent all of us in the halls of Capitol Hill, I was in the building behind you, on stage, as protesters took over the event. Here's, I think, the key difference, is that they made it very clear that they were not pro-Palestinian protesters, but that they were pro-Hamas protesters. In the things that they were saying, in the denialism that they were spouting, in the threats that they were shouting at candidates to include for their faith. One of the candidates that you're going to hear from next is Joby, who I'm extremely proud to be in this race with. As a Marine, I think we all get tested in combat, where we are faced with acts of physical violence, and we have to have not just moral courage, but physical courage. It is a sad state of affairs when the necessity to have political courage is a requisite. To have physical courage is a requisite to have political courage. And the young man that you're going to hear from next, Joby, had that on that stage. I was extremely proud to be sitting next to him. For us here, I want to leave you with three things. The first is this too loud? Should I just yell? Okay. The first is that the Jewish American community has been an ally to so many groups over the years. The second is that denialism is a cancer. And the third is that the time really is now, and it has to be now, if these hostages are to come home. On that first one, I know it feels fairly lonely right now to be Israeli American or Jewish American. All the way back from marching along Martin Luther King to being at the forefront of many of the progressive issues that face us, to standing with the American veteran community after 9/11, the Jewish American community has always been there. And now as you look for where your allies are, a lot of them can hardly be found. And I want to tell you that the veteran community is here with you. You don't have to look hard to find us. We're here with you now. We know the complexity of these issues. Most of us signed up after 9/11, the terrorist attack against our own country. And we served overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan to fight terrorism and to fight for democracy. Can you hear me?
Hold the microphone.
Okay. To fight for terrorism, fight against terrorism and fight for democracy. And so we've seen this firsthand. As a Marine, I had some of my men targeted and killed by an Iranian special operations, an Iranian Quds Force unit. So we've seen what the hand of Iran can do throughout this whole region, and we understand the larger context of what's being faced right now in Israel. I also served alongside the Israeli Defense Forces. And so I visited many of those communities that were overrun. I've been to some of those intelligence bases that were surrounded and cut off and where people were killed. And so I've seen this firsthand. So that's the first thing, is that the American veteran community is here with you, and we're proud to be here with you. The second thing is that we also here in America are facing a crisis of truth. And Can you hear us? Okay. We are facing a crisis of truth. Two things can be true at the same time. You can have people advocating for peace. You can have people, and this is consistent with the Jewish faith.
We're also into peace, dude.
Bring them home now.
Bring them home.
Bring them home. Bring them home.
Bring them home.
Bring them home.
Bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home.
Bring them home.
All of us here are heartbroken at the loss of innocent civilians on the battlefield. And that can be true. It can also be true that Israel has a fundamental right to defend itself and that Hamas needs to be wiped out. I will leave you with this third thought, and this is me just speaking some hard truths here. At this stage in the war, these hostages are likely being held with suicide belts and in tough circumstances. The military pressure is tremendously important to keep Hamas at the table, but there is not a military solution to being able to free these hostages. It will be done through negotiation. Joe Biden does not get enough credit for going into a very tough situation at the start of this and coming out with 100 Israeli and American hostages. It is time for Bibi Netanyahu to do the same, and the time to bring these hostages is right now. Bring them home.
Bring them